So can you take us back to a moment you knew you had to break free from the abuse and the trauma in your life?
Yes, of course. I think it really began, I like to call it like I've had several awakenings in my life. And the first awakening was that I was even in an abusive relationship to begin with. It began with having a kind of a narcissistic friendship. And that was in the religion that I was in. And I started to kind of do my own research on what that was even like, being in a relationship where there was a jealous person, where they were kind of controlling, where they were manipulative. And that's when I did this really big deep dive into narcissism. And I didn't even realize, honestly, I'd heard the word before, but it really wasn't on my radar, right? I didn't really understand it or know what it was about. And so as I did that and I got very knowledgeable about it, I started to see how I was in that type of relationship and that type of marriage. And that was like the epiphany for me to be like, oh my gosh. So this is what I've been experiencing these past 17 years and not even knowing it. But it was very familiar to me because that was who my father was. He was controlling, manipulative, and really desired, everything was about him. He desired everything was about him, and everybody was meant to honor and worship him and listen to him and all of those things. So I think that was the pieces that I didn't really understand until that I started to unravel that. And then when I did that, that's when I said, okay, I need to break free from this. This is not okay. This isn't healthy for me. This isn't healthy for anyone. And I decided to kind of go on that venture and leave the relationship. And while I was doing that, I also was unraveling my religious doctrine, my religious beliefs, and recognizing that I was even in a cult. And not realizing what a cult was and kind of understanding even how does a religion become a cult and what does that mean? What is the structure or the framework for a cult? And that is when I was like, oh, okay, this is the truth of where I'm at right now. And so I just had to kind of break down and burn everything down to the ground, if you will, and start from the very beginning.